And we're joined out of Ohio by Mr. Gordon Duff, senior editor of Veterans Today. Hello, Mr. Duff. Thanks for joining us. We heard pretty much two contradictory statements there. U.S. president hasn't made a decision, but as long as Iran continues to abide, so will we. Your thoughts, please.
Listening to Secretary Tillerson and listening to yesterday's rambling diatribe from Trump in front of the United Nations are two separate worlds apart. Tillerson, it's obvious, is sane. He has good business experience. He's extremely inexperienced as a diplomat. His attempt to characterize the agreement with, which was ratified by the American Congress as a treaty with Iran over nuclear weapons as anything but an agreement is an abuse of the English language, something often abused, where he deserves to be lauded. Very simply, in telling the truth, it's the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, has certified that Iran is in full compliance with this agreement as made. Everyone else says so, and that, as Trump has said over and over, and now it's being reiterated by Tillerson as well. The issue with Iran has nothing to do with nuclear weapons. It has to do with submission to the United States, which to some of us thinks it's submission to Israel and Saudi Arabia.
Go ahead. The comment that he made that Iran has not helped promote stability of the Middle East region, I mean, isn't that far and beyond anything that was on that nuclear accord? The nuclear accord was about Iran's nuclear program, and everything, all the obligations under the deal have been met. And by saying that Iran is propping up Bashar al-Assad, Iran is helping fighting al-Nusra Front terrorists in Syria and Daesh in Syria. It's in Baghdad helping fighting Daesh in Baghdad. So how is Iran not contributing to stability in the region? Is it not that Iran is not playing the game that Washington wants Iran to play in the region?
Let's get something straight about what happened in the last 24 hours in Syria. There have been two strong military moves on behalf of the two primary anti-Assad factions, and that's Al-Qaeda, al-Nusra, and whatever name they've called themselves now. And this is out of Idlib province, bordering Turkey, and a major military move out of, let's say, the eastern bank of the Euphrates River. What the Russian commander pointed out yesterday is that a strong advance, which was of course turned back by the Syrian army and Russian aerospace forces, came not out of ISIS territory, but ISIS attacking in strength from bases within American-held territory. To the same extent, we have watched military equipment brought through Turkey into an area that should be covered by a ceasefire, and we've watched that equipment deployed, American military equipment deployed against Russian and Syrian forces in Idlib province as well in the last 24 hours. How that applies to what you're saying is simply this. The United States, by any imagination, by any use of reality, is fully behind the terrorist organizations, Al-Qaeda and ISIS, is operating fully in coordination with them. By assumption, one can easily assume that Saudi Arabia falls into that same category. They've openly supported these organizations for years. The proof about Israel is not so clear, but there are many of us who believe they need to be looked at as a major backer of terrorist organizations as well, and that damning Iran is based on damning people that stand up to terrorist organizations that the U.S., Saudi Arabia, and perhaps Israel as well are backing. World terrorism. Iran's role is Iran has refused to give in to terrorism, much the same as the people of Iraq have done, the people of Syria have done, and it has been a disaster for American foreign policy that the people of Afghanistan, the people of Iraq, the people of Syria have stood up for themselves. The people of Yemen are doing the same thing. And that America wants terrorist organizations to take control of these governments, we need to have a reality check about what America's real goals are in the Middle East.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Gordon Duff, senior editor at Veterans Today, joining us out of Ohio.